first speaker.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Huzar and everybody. Okay, so I'd like to speak on item number 5, where it talks about approval of the certified farmers market in residential zones. So that's unusual. That's residential and where people live. The only thing I think it's a good idea. And I think the problem is we need to make sure this food is safe. We need an oversight. We need the Board of Health to go out and inspect them, because we don't want people to get poisoned. You go over there on Wilshire and Alvarado, where they go over there, and they don't have any refrigeration, nothing, just fixing food. One time I saw a lady digging in a breast with the charcoal sitting on there. I mean, we need oversight. We don't want people to get poisoned. But I think it's a good idea, and I don't know if the residents will want all that in their communities. That's up to them, but I think it's a good idea. People need to try to make a living some kind of way. Again, affordable housing, we need to work on that. That's my public comment. We need to work on affordable housing. Now, I've been driving by these residences where we're supposed to be building with that HHH money, because I have the address of all of them where they're being built. I've been by 5 so far, and nothing's being built but one, and that's O'Farrell's, right on Vermont and Madison. He is building over there. I don't know when you're going to get started, Mr. Harris Dawson, but you're supposed to be building in your district. Curran Price and our council president, Herb Wesson. None of you are building anything. I drove over there, talked to the people in the community. All the businesses are still there. You need to start building. Curran Price was to start building in 2016. Here it is 2018. He hasn't built a thing. Now remember, I told you we don't need any pledges that you're going to build. You're taking money out of the taxpayers, the homeowners' pockets. And that $1.2 billion, you're supposed to be building. Now either you build or go to prison. Make your choice. But I'm going to hold all of you accountable. I'm going to keep writing and coming here telling people what's being built. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our multiple item speaker cards. We will now go to the consent calendar. Item number 3, we have no speaker cards, I believe. Is that correct? Number 5 and number 6. We have no speaker cards on any of those. 3, 5, and 6. I'm sorry, let's go down. Okay, I don't see it on here. Did somebody sign up for 6? Oh, here you go. Okay, we will take item 6 later. Okay, so items 3 and 5, we will take on consent. With no objection, we will move on to item number 1, report from the Director of Planning, Vince Bertoni.
Thank you, Chair Wizard, members of the Planning and Land Use Management Committee. Vince Bertoni, Director of Planning. The one item I'd like to cover under my Director's report is regarding wildlife corridors and the studies that the Department's been conducting. And with this, Arthi Varma, one of our principal planners, and she oversees citywide policy planning, will give a brief update.
Good afternoon. Arthi Varma with the Department of City Planning, here to provide a brief update on our wildlife corridor work. First, just a little bit of background on the work the department has been engaging in regarding the hillside areas and the protection of wildlife. A couple of brief examples. We've been preparing the baseline hillside ordinance, as you know, which was adopted in 2017 to address out-of-scale development and grading in the hillside area. Also, in addition to the new baseline hillside ordinance, the department has developed the hillside construction regulation overlay, which has more tailored requirements for specific neighborhoods. This overlay addresses grading, hauling, hours of construction, and overall size thresholds. The overlay has been applied in Bel Air and is proposed on today's agenda for the Laurel Canyon area. Another item we've been working on in the hillsides is the Ridgelines Ordinance. This department has been working on a potential Ridgeline Ordinance. We've developed technical maps using GIS for all of our hillside areas and are nearing completion of the draft ordinance. The next steps will be a series of public outreach meetings to discuss the ridgeline protection options. The ridgeline tool will also be an overlay that can be applied in neighborhoods seeking additional protection. So that's just a little bit of background on some of our existing work efforts in the Hillside area as it relates to wildlife protection. And really with the wildlife corridors work effort, the City Council did adopt a motion to create a wildlife corridor in the eastern Santa Monica Mountains to ensure wildlife are protected in their natural habitat. We had some initial outreach meetings to share the motion's direction, and since that time, the department has been developing the analytical foundation for the effort with the creation of citywide wildlife corridor maps. So we've hired a consultant, and we have mapping that's well underway. Just to note, the maps are being informed by department data as well as external mapping resources that have been provided to us by the Santa Monica Mountains Conservancy, as well as other stakeholder groups. These maps focus on significant ecological areas and connections between these areas. The department is actively giving feedback to our consultant. We hope to have drafts of these maps ready for public review in the coming months. The next phase of this effort would be to share these maps and initial concepts for larger feedback with the city family, meet with technical experts, and with the broader public and interested public stakeholders. And finally, most importantly, the department is also working on a preliminary implementation ordinance that would provide the regulatory framework to link these maps to actual on-the-ground protections to guide new development and permitting. The department is exploring a number of regulatory concepts and considering questions such as, what should the range and scope of the regulations be? What types of development should be affected by this ordinance? Would there be a size threshold affected by these ordinance? What geography would this be applied to? So the department is researching options for the ordinance structure and looking into potential pilot programs in selected hillside areas. Just to note, to help the department in this effort, we've reviewed a number of models already in place. We're particularly looking at the LA County model. And we're really working strategically to ensure that any proposed framework that we create balances the interests of creating a streamlined approach and with one that effectively protects our wildlife and natural habitat. Again, the next steps would be to complete our draft maps, our regulatory framework, and share with the public, key stakeholders, and the council offices. The department looks forward to working with the Plum Committee and interested stakeholders in this work effort.
Thank you. Are there anything else, Mr. Bertoni?
No, thank you. That concludes my report.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Bertoni or the presentation? Seeing none, we will note and file this item. Thank you, Mr. Bertoni. And for the record, we've been joined by Councilmember Price as well. So next item, we'll go back to item number 6. If you could call that to order, please.
Sure.
Mr. Mejia.
Item 6, Councilman, it's a draft ordinance being recommended by the Planning Commission. It relates to hillsides, construction regulations, and SUDs being enacted, and it's in the neighborhood of the Bird Streets in CD 4.
Okay, thank you. Is staff here to present on this item briefly? Thank you.
Hi there, Craig Weber, City Planning staff. Good afternoon, council members. So the item before you is for the proposed adoption of the hillside construction regulations for the Laurel Canyon and Bird Streets neighborhoods. You just heard a little snippet in the director's report about this larger tool. The hillside construction regulations were developed a little bit over a year ago and added to the zoning code. This is a tool that applies haul route standards to most projects within the hillside area, and that also imposes a site plan review requirement for houses that exceed, or that would exceed 17,500 square feet in size, among others. So the tool was successfully applied to the Bel Air community a little bit over a year ago. So before the committee today is the proposed use of that tool for neighborhoods within the Hollywood Hills, specifically the Bird Streets and the Laurel Canyon communities. The tool was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission with fairly wide support within the community.
Okay. Thank you. First public speaker on this item. Each public speaker has 1 minute. I'll call up 3 at a time. Jim Murray, Jimmy Bayan, Carol Sidlow. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Plum Committee. I am so confident that you will approve the HCR ordinance before you today that I will use my time to thank you rather than persuade you. Thank you for approving meaningful change to construction and hauling operations in our hillside communities. Thank you for acknowledging at last that we are not a one-size-fits-all city when it comes to construction, grading, and hauling, particularly within the dense confines and challenging topography of our hillside neighborhoods. Thank you for recognizing that the construction misery index is at a 10 for us battered and weary hillside residents after years of epic construction, epic grading, epic hauling, and that relief has been long overdue. Thank you for realizing that this ordinance will help to restore some semblance of normalcy in our lives and in our neighborhoods. Peace.
Peace. Thank you. Jim Bayan, or Jimmy Bayan, or Kara, are you there? Whoever comes up first, whoever.
We're going to switch off. We're ecumenical here.
That's fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to do a little extemporaneous. I don't normally do this, but I want to specifically thank the Planning Department, two of the leaders, Kevin and Vince Bertoni, sitting here, Giselle Correa and Christine Saponara. We have been waiting for this for 25 years. Although it is not perfect, and we would like to reassess after 9 months what we can do better, we appreciate this as a first step towards that goal, and we hope that the council members who have hillsides that are not covered like this will consider that for our friends in the Northeast, for our friends in the West, for our friends all over the city who have the same issues. We want enforcement of this because we all know that forgiveness is easier than permission. So with the enforcement component, we expect this will be very successful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Jimmy Bayan. I live in Laurel Canyon. Real quickly, I support the ordinance, but it's been hell. And you know, I just want it enforced, that's all. I want to see some action. And I brought my little boys here, they live here, and they have something to say also.
We want to be safe!
Thank you.
Thank you. Kristen Stavola, Linda Martyr, and Ellen Evans. Carol Sidlow already spoke, and it's on my screen. If you could take it off the screen. How do we? Thank you. There it goes. Thank you. So Kristen Stavola, Linda Martyr, Ellen Evans. If you're up in the microphone, you could speak, even if I called your name. Yes.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Ellen Evans. I'm president of the Doheny Sunset Plaza Neighborhood Association, which represents the 2,000 homes in 90069 north of Sunset that are all affected by this ordinance. I just want to say thank you to the CD4 office and Planning Department for all the many, many hours that have gone into bringing the ordinance to this point. This will have meaningful impact on our neighborhoods and will mitigate some of the issues created by the robust building boom in our neighborhood. We feel that the next step after this would be to provide greater funding for enforcement and to strengthen the fee structure for building violations. Thank you for this, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Hi, Commissioners. My name is Kristen Stavola. I represent an organization in Laurel Canyon called We Are Laurel Canyon, and we just wanted to express our approval for all the hard work that's gone into this ordinance, and thank you very much.
Linda Martyr, no Laurel Canyon resident. I want to say me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Ellison Taylor, Stephen Poster, Jamie Hall, and Emily Gable from Council District 4.
Hello,
Hello,
Allison Taylor.
welcome.
I would like to thank Councilmember Rue and his team and the Planning Department for initiating this. I have had 7 years of major construction next door to me and at the back of me. 7 years of hell. My ears and my head hurt badly. It stops me from being able to focus from 7 o'clock every morning. It's been very damaging. I can't imagine what it is doing to my dogs. I look forward to not hearing these piercing noises from 7 a.m. most days of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephen Poster. I am a resident of CD4, and we are here to support this. We've waited for a long time for this kind of ordinance. It's a great beginning, but it's only a beginning. This is a public safety issue. We have a group of about an ad hoc group of about 275 neighbors who support this. I want to thank Councilman Rue and his office and Julia Duncan for pushing on this. It's very important to work toward public safety in the hills, especially in the Laurel Canyon area where we have substandard streets often, and there's construction going on that is really untoward. So thank you very much for taking up this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamie Hall. I'm the president of the Laurel Canyon Association. We are firmly in support of this ordinance, and we want to thank the councilman for hearing the issues and our concerns regarding the overwhelming amount of construction that's been proposed in Laurel Canyon in recent years. We want to thank Julia Duncan, and we want to thank the planning department for all of their tireless efforts. There were certainly more ideas that were put on the table with regard to solving some of our problems, one of which is requiring developers to pay their fair share toward improving our roads. And we understand that that is going to be an issue that we'll have to address in a further code amendment process, and we want to work with the councilman on that. But today, we want to say thank you and express our firm support for all of the work that's gone into this. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Emily Gable, Interim Planning Deputy with Council District 4. Councilmember Rue believes it is critical to address hillside construction safety throughout our district and the city. Our office worked extensively with residents and the planning department to develop the hillside construction regulations and get them in place for Bel Air Beverly Crest last March. The HCR has been successful and well received there. The Bird Streets and Laurel Canyon neighborhoods have been experiencing large quantities of construction, and the HCR will help improve safety in these areas as well. We thank everyone, residents and city staff, for the significant amount of work that has gone into getting the ordinance to this point. We wholeheartedly support applying the HCR to Laurel Canyon and the Bird Streets as soon as possible. This is a great first step, and we will continue to explore ways to improve safety in our hillsides going forward. We request your support of this ordinance, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on this item? Mr. Blumenfield?
And I fully support this item, but just two quick questions. Can the district, can this district be imposed or requested through a community plan update process, or does it have to go the way we're doing it?
Craig Weber, City Planning staff. It certainly could be an implementation tool that is proposed as part of a community plan update process. So as we're updating community plans, we're looking at a variety of zoning solutions to address the issues and opportunities that we learn about as we have a dialogue with those stakeholders. So that's something that we could explore.
Because that leads me, discussions about making this standard or applying it to other hillside areas. I don't know where the discussions are in that process. Have there been discussions like that, or are we thinking that it'll be the community plans that do that?
Yeah, so the Craig Weber planning staff again. So the process thus far has been somewhat organic. The need for this tool was initially identified with the Bel Air community. almost immediately, neighboring communities learned about the utility of the tool, and subsequent council motions were set forth to direct the department to explore the implementation for those communities explicitly.
I think, Councilman, if I can just maybe add to that, I think the community plan process is probably the best place to put it. It was just that the communities that were very highly impacted were not in the process of a community plan update, and the need was a lot more urgent than that time that's going to place. But absolutely, as we go through the community plan update process, and we should be having them all done by 2024, that we should really be looking at it as part of that, and we can really apply it and really integrate it into the community plan, into the various regulations.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll move to approve this item and send it to full council without objection. Any objections? So ordered. Thank you.
Tool that someone to bring up.
Next item is item number 2. Please call that to order, please.
Item 2, Councilman, the communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Adele Yellen to the West LA ABC.
Welcome, Ms. Yellen. And great to see you in this capacity now and your willingness to continue to serve. You've been a long proponent and supporter of the civic life of Los Angeles. You've been an outstanding contributor to volunteerism, so thank you. And now if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and your interest in serving on this commission.
Well, I just sold Grand Central Market and that whole project, so I have a lot of free time. And I've been approached by several people to see what I was interested in doing. But when I was approached this time, I thought this is a perfect segue for me because I really care about our city. I care about urbanization. I care about access, and I'm very excited. I think this is an opportunity for me to get to know the city even better than I do already, and to use some of my skills. So I look forward to. I've been warned also, but I do feel that I'm a good listener, and I want to hear what people have to say. So I hope you agree that I would be a good candidate. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any questions? Well, thank you so much, and certainly in your involvement in downtown Los Angeles with serving on the Board of Trustees for bringing back Broadway, the LA Streetcar, Angel's Flight, and many other urban planning and revitalization efforts for downtown. You could certainly use those as background in serving the West Side Area Planning Commission. So thank you again for your willingness to serve, and we would enthusiastically recommend this to full council. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Without objection, no objection, so ordered. Thank you. All right, so item number 4, please call that to order.
Yes, item 4, Councilman, it's a City Planning Commission report and a proposed ordinance to create a plan implementation board for the Warner Center 2035 plan in CD3.
Okay. Mr. Blumenfield?
Great. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to start out, I'm really happy to see this item is finally before our committee. It's been a long time coming, and I want to thank the department for finally getting us here, albeit it's a little bit later than the Warner Center plan envisioned. It's better late than never, and we're here now, and that is really positive. So I also want to thank all the different groups, the Woodland Hills Warner Center Neighborhood Council, the Warner Center Association, the West Valley Warner Center Chamber, all the folks who helped shape this. A lot of community folks came together. There were a lot of expectations out there on the adoption of the plan that that had to be molded and changed in some ways because there was a disconnect with sort of where we were with planning. But I think we've brought all that together in a very positive way. So I really want to thank the department for the hard work in getting us here. And also, though, I do have some amendments, Mr. Chair, that'll just sort of the icing on the cake to make sure that this thing works with with everyone, and I think the amendments are good with the department. I'll let them speak for themselves as well as the community. So I have them written out, but basically it includes a preamble about the purpose. It includes a sort of technical thing about quorum, because in the initial draft of this, quorum was taken to be the entire membership, just to make it conform with all of our other committees, the way we handle it, and a few other minor changes having to deal with the membership. But with that, I would just urge our support and urge adoption of the amendments as written.
Okay. Any other questions? So we'll move to adopt the ordinance as amended by Council District Mr. Bloomfield.
Actually, Councilman, it'll be a referral to city attorney because this is just a draft.
It's a draft right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it'll be as amended by Councilman Blumenfield.
We'll move to
refer to the city attorney.
refer to city attorney as amended by Mr. Bloomfield.
Thank you.
Okay. Any objections? Seeing none, so ordered. Next item, item number 7.
Item 7, Councilman, this is a communication from the North Valley APC. It's a draft ordinance for a zone change as it relates to a fuel service station and a convenience store in CD7.
Okay. Staff here to present this item, please.
Hi, good afternoon. Jordan Turn, Department of City Planning. Before you is a zone change for the construction of a gas station and convenience store in the Lakeview Terrace area in CD7. The zone change will be from C21VL to MP1VL to C21VL for the entire site. The site is currently developed with a one-story 7-Eleven store, and as part of the proposed project, the 7-Eleven store will move into the new proposed building. On December of 2017, the North Valley APC recommended approval of the zone change and also approved 2 conditional uses to allow for the 24-hour daily operation of the convenience store and for the sale and dispensing of beer and wine for off-site consumption in conjunction with said convenience store and gas station. The North Valley APC also adopted the related M&D and M&P for the project. The conditions of approval regarding the conditional uses primarily revolved around store operations, 24 hours for the convenience store, and 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. for the gas station. The conditional uses were not appealed. However, before the Plum Committee today is a concurrent zone change. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We'll go to public comment now. Humberto Quintana, Ben Steckler, Vanessa. Each person has 1 item.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair, committee members. Humberto Quintana, with Planning Director with the Office of Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez. On behalf of Councilwoman Monica Rodriguez, we request that the proposed zone change be denied. I have transmitted a letter indicating why the zone change findings cannot be made in support of the proposed zone change. Removal of the P1VL zone would remove a functioning land use buffer that has been established by the city to provide proper protections to the adjacent low-density residential and equestrian uses of the subject site. Allowing the zone change will facilitate the substantial expansion of a commercial use in a manner that is not to scale and incompatible with the existing built environment and is inconsistent with the certain goals and policies of the framework element of the city's general plan. The requested zone change will result in a project that is not a public necessity and convenience, does not provide for the general welfare, and is inconsistent with good zoning practices in that within the immediate vicinity of the project site, there are various neighborhood serving retail uses and options where customers can meet their fueling needs. Pursuant to Section 12.32G of the Municipal Code, findings must be made to assure that in the best interests of the community, so that the development is compatible with the surrounding properties and overall pattern of the development of community. However, there's very little discussion in the environmental assessment of the existing 2,600 square foot commercial building that will remain on site as part of the overall project. The traffic assessment dated February 24th, 2017 assumes that the existing building will remain as a specialty retail use, yet the site has the potential of being a use of regional significance, increasing the number of trips to the subject site. This type of compounded traffic impact has not been properly assessed. The net total of project trip generations is unknown. As such, any type of conditions assessed to this project at this point is flawed. Given the various inconsistencies related to the public necessity, convenience, welfare, general welfare, and good zoning practices, and overall conditions of approval, the specific findings cannot be made in the affirmative. We request that the proposed zone change be denied. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Ben Steckler. I'm here in support of the project. I work for Fiedler Group. We are the engineering firm of the design. We are here to support the zone change because we feel that the only use of this land is to eliminate the parking zone and create a more appropriate commercial zone as it has been intended for and used for over 40 years in the community. The existing facility has existed, and the remainder of the land that has been zoned commercial has been vacant because no use wants to occupy this property or develop on this property because of the parking zone and the limitations within the parking zone. The elimination of the parking zone will actually allow for a use to be moved away from the adjacent residential and centered on the lot rather than specifically, if it's a questionable commercial use, up against the residential, which is currently how it's zoned. So we are in support of the zone change, and we request that you approve this project.
Thank you. Vanessa, Nani Barnes, Carol Ledoux.
Good afternoon. My name is Vanessa May, and I would like to request that you deny the zone change and hopefully the project overall, as I believe environmental impact report is necessary. The many things in the record would indicate that more study needs to take place regarding the impacts to the environment and the surrounding community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nani Barnes. I'm a longtime resident and equestrian property owner in Lakeview Terrace. I will have to tell you that I will be greatly impacted as our entire neighborhood as equestrian properties by this project. The City Planning ZI file number 2438 states that we are to preserve and protect our equine communities and not bring in more commercialization such as a 7-Eleven gas station. We cannot handle the traffic now. It will affect our quality of life, and we're please asking for denial of this project. Thank you so much.
Carol Ledoux, Roy Ledoux, Charles Gillikin, welcome.
Good afternoon. My name is Carol Ledoux. I'm also a longtime owner of a home. We're equine neighborhood. And I just would like to reiterate what Nani said, and that I also have two 11-year-old grandchildren who live in our home, ride horses, and have to cross foothill at times with the horses. It's already a traffic problem. At this gas station would create a bigger traffic problem. And I also want to pass on to my grandchildren the ability to live in this area and experience what we have been able to experience as homeowners and equestrians in the area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Roy Ledoux. I live at 11322 Osborne, which is directly across from the construction site for the gas station. My front yard will be 60 feet from a gas pump. With the gas pump comes the 7-Eleven, with the vagrants, with the panhandlers, with the people stopping to buy beer from the park, with their boom boxes. The traffic will be crazy. I can't even believe we're here at this date talking about putting a gas station in a residential neighborhood. That's good for me.
Thank you. Charles Gillikin, Gina Cruz, Catherine Paul.
I'm Charles Gilligan. I live across the street from the proposed construction site. I guess my concern is why we're even considering a gas station in the city of Los Angeles when Around this proposed site, within 5-mile radius, there's at least 30 gas stations that are accessible to the community. In 2004, CAFE standards started, 78. Cars were getting 18 miles a gallon. 2004, 27.5. Trucks were around 15, 16 to 20 in 97. And performance data says they exceeded those. The standards going forward are projecting that in the year 2021, everybody will get 40 miles a gallon. Put a gas station inside a residential community when there's no need and everybody can get to where they need to be and eliminate more carbon, environmental hazards and stuff makes sense, not adding a gas station. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Gina Cruz. I'm an owner of an equestrian property in Lakeview Terrace. I respectfully request that you deny the change in zoning. The P1 zone, as was already mentioned, was put in place to provide a buffer for the residential properties. This site is completely surrounded by residential properties, and not only is it residential, but all of the properties along Osborne Street are ranches. And people ride their horses on Osborne Street. It is actually an official equestrian trail. If there is a gas station there, the amount of traffic increase that will happen will make it impossible for people to ride their horses there safely. There is a gas station that is just 1.5 miles away. There is no need for this gas station here. There are very few areas where we can have our horses on our properties. The gas station could be anywhere. So please allow the horses to remain where they are. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine Paul, Michael White, Roxana Morales.
I would like to distribute, Catherine Paul, I'd like to distribute my statement.
Sure, Sergeant Barnes will get that.
I'm at 12215 Park Trail in Cagle Canyon. This is going by this new gas station is my only way of getting out of my community. Traffic congestion is already an issue in the 47 years I've lived there due to more building and a new school. Odors from trucks delivering gas and the vapors coming from them with refueling will affect air quality and health risks for the neighborhood. Semi-trucks, which would stop for gas, could not turn around if they made a mistake because this road goes into the National Forest. And on Little Tahunga Road, where there were 2 major fires in the last few years, including the Creek Fire. And of course, we have the stables across the street and history of gang area activity in the area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi, my name is Michael White, and I'm currently the store manager of the actual project they're trying to expand. I've been working at the store for the owner for 2 years, and I have built a relationship with all the customers who live within the vicinity, and every single day, all the customers are always asking me, when is the gas station going to be approved? And keep in mind, these are the people who are within walking distance or the people who come in here 4 or 5 times a day who live within the community who eagerly want the gas station. So I just wanted to ask if you could please approve the zone change so that we can move forward with this project. It has already been approved. All we need is your support to approve the zone change, and it's been long overdue. We need a gas station in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome. Go ahead.
My name is Roxana. I'm a LA City employee. I work at Hansendam. I'm also a resident, and I would truly ask you to support the gas station. Please approve the zone change. It's long overdue. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Charette Olguin, Chris Danton, Adrian Saldana. Charette Olguin here? Yeah? Okay. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Olguin, and I have been an immediate resident adjacent to 7-Eleven for 39 years. The reason I'm here is because I'm asking you and I'm pleading with you to please allow the rezoning of the property that will allow the 7-Eleven gas station to be built. The recent creek fire made a lot of us mandatory evacuation victims. I, for one, have a son who uses the car, leaves it constantly on empty. I cannot believe that there isn't a gas station that I could get to because I couldn't get out of my neighborhood and I needed to transport people to other locations. A gas station there, to me, would have been invaluable and a big asset. And we never know when we're going to, if you have children, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm asking for your help and assisting 7-Eleven for this change. They've always been accommodating throughout the decades to us community people. And I'm tired of hearing about the environment. We're adjacent to a dump. We're covered by junkyards. This is something positive that I would like to see happen.
Great.
So thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Yes, I am Chris Stanton. I'm the neighborhood watch captain, 20 years Lakeview Terrace. I love my city of Los Angeles. I love Lakeview Terrace. Recently, a man bought a car in Lakeview Terrace, but the man wouldn't give him the keys. Had to go to court, had to face the judge. Judge said, you sell a car, you got to give him the keys. We have come a long way with the gas station over the last year. You've given us the property rights. You've given us all the rights of all the planning commission. All we need is a little zone change, like the key to the car. Without the key, you can't run the car. We've gotten this far. It's time to finish what we've begun together, and we thank you all very much for the time and diligence of being here today. Now, if I haven't said anything good that has addressed the issue, you have to say I did come under 60 seconds. We need that parking lot, people. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Adrian Saldana. I'm a student that commutes by the local 7-Eleven. It's really difficult for me to refill my car when I have to travel over by the mobile gas station on Van Nuys and Foothill, when I could just stop by right there to that 7-Eleven if it did have a gas station. I believe it will benefit both parties, those who are against the gas station because they too have cars and they do need gas for their cars, and also for the people who do have cars and they are requesting the gas station. Thank you very much. I hope this gas station gets built.
Thank you. Samuel Edgman, Lydia Vasquez, Danny Kang.
Hello, my name is Samuel Edgman, longtime resident of the Cagle Canyon area. The main thing we're here for today is hopefully is to get the rezoning on the lot so that we can go ahead with this project and get the station built. It could be built on the area that it has commercial already, but that would put us very close to the wall and to the area next to the residentials, and we wanted to be able to move it out a little bit farther away so we aren't an inconvenience to them. That's our biggest concern right now. Some of the people that spoke earlier about the canyon, they were right about the horse community. One thing they failed to mention, though, is Osborne Street is lined with horse people and horse ranches. It also turns into Little Tujunga Canyon, which goes all the way over the top of the mountain into canyon country. And in such, it has a flow of traffic all the time. So it's, the gas station is not going to necessarily increase that flow of traffic. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Lydia Vasquez. I've been a resident at Lakeview Terrace for 53 years. We need to just change the zoning around the area there to make it a little more convenient for people to park. And I really think that we do need that gas station there. I don't care what the community says. They haven't been there long. They have no idea what they're talking about traffic. There's not the traffic that they're talking about. It's off the foothill. But we're doing okay, and I think that needs to be observed and get the zoning in there to make this a better area for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Danny Kang, Paul Furco, Dale Gibson. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Danny Kang. I'm the franchisee owner of the 7-Eleven store. We've been in that business for almost 40 years. I just wanted to know we collected over 500 signatures within 5 blocks of our store supporting the gas station. We collected 2,500 signatures within a half mile to a mile radius of the store supporting the gas station. These are people from all parts of our store that come and shop, go to school there, work around there, and the need for a gas station is long overdue. We're just trying to give what the community's been asking for many, many years. These people that are horse people, there are horse people around the area, but majority it's a suburban city that has an awesome high school as well as a middle school. The Puck schools, which is phenomenal, and these people need gas to take their kids to schools, to take them to their school activities and so forth. We wouldn't be here if the community has not asked for this. We have actual signatures with addresses and phone numbers supporting this project, so I ask for your help with the zoning change so we can get this project moving forward as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Paul Furcho from 7-Eleven. Hey, I just want to echo Danny's statements where we've worked with the City Council office and the community for over a year and a half to try to do this project. I have 2,500 support, and we've put it on a map, and you can see how close to the proposed community or the gas station that they actually are. I was going to mention the tax implications as well. I mean, obviously, with a vacant piece of land turning into a gas station, you have revenue off the gas sales. The store increased property taxes because we're going to put over $2 million into the property. We listened to the community. We put in horse parking. We put in 24% landscaping, well above what was required. We even put in a green space, which could be a small park. We listened to their feedback and the City Council's feedback for over a year and a half and made several adjustments based on their feedback, and that's why we're here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Councilman. My name is Dale Gibson. I'm the president of the Equine Advisory Committee for the City of Los Angeles, and we have a couple of you folks that don't have reps. The Los Angeles Equine Advisory Committee opposes granting the above referenced entitlement on the basis that it violates the San Gabriel Verdugo Mountains Scenic Preservation Specific Plan adopted in 2000. This project will not enhance the built environment. It is proposed to be built on a scenic highway, foothill to Osborne Street and foothill to 210 Freeway, as referenced in the plan definitions. This was not considered in the findings of the APCNV, and according to the San Gabriel Verdugo Mountain Scenic Preservation Plan. Specifically, Section 7, which is Equine District Protection, and Section 9, Scenic Highway Corridors with the viewshed protection, are not considered or properly mitigated. The plan establishes standards for site design, landscaping, and signage to assure that the related improvements complement the rural horsekeeping area. I'll wrap it up. The project should be required to be remanded to the APCNV for reconsideration, and I have filed this for your records.
Thank you.
Please don't vote on this for Councilman Englander gets back. Thank you.
Josie Zarate.
Good afternoon. My name is Josephine Zarate. I am the president of the Lakeview Terrace business and the Goleta Neighborhood Watch captain, as well as call myself a volunteer for the community. I've been president and vice president of various organizations, and right now, the Beautifying Our Community is in support of this project, the reason being that we need this business. We have seen the reports. We have worked with owners and various entities, and our BOC, Beautifying Our Community group, is approving this project. We see this as necessary for our community. We don't agree with the Foothill Neighborhood Council. They are providing the wrong information to the community. We disagree with most of the information they're providing to us. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. That concludes our public comment on this item. Any questions or comments from anybody on the committee? Okay. Well, given the testimony and the testimony by Council District 7, I'll move that we deny the zone change and adopt the findings read by Council District 7 as they were recommended in the letter submitted to the council file today. Any objections to that? See no objection, so ordered. Thank you. Okay, item number 8.
Item 8, Councilman, this is a communication from the Board of Building and Safety. It relates to an appeal by MT Yohai and Mr. Ben Resnick as the representative. The Board of Building and Safety Commissioners did not accept the MND for the project.
Okay, thank you. Staff here on this item, please. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Cora Johnson, Board Secretary for the Building and Safety Commission. On February 28, 2018, the board did deny the haul route application, and it did not accept the mitigated negative declaration for the haul route. And the appeal did address or did mention that that they were comparing it to a haul route that we previously approved on Glendower. Just wanted to point out a couple of differences with the Glendower project. The amount was reduced on that project, and this current project has a steeper topography, and that the streets for Nottingham are narrow and it's in poor condition.
Okay, thank you. We will now move to public comment. Jason Summers.
Council member, I believe this is an appeal hearing, and I also think CD4 had some comments to make as part of a staff presentation.
Okay. Council District 4.
Thank you, council members. Councilmember Ryu supports the finding of the Building and Safety Commission, and we just wanted to add some thoughts on the specifics around the haul route and how the haul route will endanger the health, safety, and welfare of the public for the following reasons. So this would be to add to your findings today. Specifically, there's a very unique topography for this site, very steep on the hillside. It is adjacent to a part of Nottingham Avenue, which is very narrow and is made out of concrete and has not been repaired in decades. And as is shown on the Building and Bureau of Street Services website and other areas, it's in poor condition. Specifically, this is also an area where there are no sidewalks, and residents walk their dogs, walk their children up to Griffith Park through this route. This stretch is also, the stretch of Los Feliz Boulevard that will also be part of the haul route is also in very poor condition, and has met various traffic or needs for volume-based and excessive delay warrants at the various intersections on Los Feliz Boulevard. So we respectfully request that you look at the circumstances of this unique case and deny this haul route as unsafe for those reasons. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll now go to public comment. Jason Summers, Tom Fanning, John Ruzicka.
Mr. Chair, Ben Resnick, we are the appellants. I represent the appellant. Will the appellant get a chance to make
yeah, you should be first on this list. There it is. Okay, so to our staff, whenever we have appellants, they should, or applicants, they should be right after the council district. So Ben Resnick, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Plum Committee. Ben Resnick with Jeffer, Mangels, Butler, and Mitchell, representing MT Yohai LLC, the owner of the property. What you have before you today is pretty much an outrageous decision by the Board of Building and Safety Commission, which is totally unsupported by any facts or evidence in the record. They totally denied a haul route. You've heard many haul routes. You have haul routes in your districts. When's the last time you heard of a haul route actually being denied? What happened here is that there's an attempt and an effort to regulate the size of the home and the amount of quantity of hauling
through the haul route permit process. That's illegal because the haul route permit process stands on its own with its own findings. And the only way to deny a haul route is to find dangerous conditions which cannot be mitigated with any conditions. The haul route ordinance specifically gives the department tools to regulate the safety of hauling activities. On this street, just last year, there was another hauling done. Yet the department denied a haul route saying that Nottingham is too narrow and it's dangerous to turn onto Los Feliz. Well, that's what you have flagmen for. That's what you have conditions for. Because that is what the purpose of a haul route is. Not to usurp what is the baseline mansionization ordinance and the Hillside ordinances that do regulate the quantities of hauling, the quantities of grading and the quantities of the sizes of homes. So what's before you today and what you're being asked by the Chief of Staff for Councilman Ryu is also totally inappropriate. Because you're reviewing whether or not the Board of Building and Safety Commission erred or abused its discretion in denying a haul route outright. You're not taking new evidence. You're not really in a position to make new decisions and make new findings. What you were just asked to do is add more findings, all of which are speculation, conclusions, opinions, none supported by evidence. In this project, the Department of Transportation reviewed the hauling and approved it. Engineering approved it. We have an approved soils report and a grading permit ready to issue that's been approved. All the safety factors have been looked at by the professionals and the evidence before them and have all been approved. So if you deny the haul route like the board did, then you would be subjecting this applicant in the city to an unusual result, which is how can you build a home without the haul route? Even though just up the street a haul route was approved last year, and there are haul routes up and down this neighborhood. I think you need to think about also the risks this puts the city in. There's a sale pending of the property. The sale cannot close without a haul route because the haul route is the precursor to the building permits being issued. Does the city want to be liable for such an arbitrary denial of a haul route? It's that basic, and the damages will be substantial. I also think you should be aware of some of the things that went on at the hearing. It's unusual for a board to deny a haul route, but on the record, which I know you didn't have a chance to review, nor would you, because you didn't get a transcript, you wouldn't get a tape, even though you're supposed to make a decision as to whether or not the board abused its discretion, you will hear one of the commissioners several times say on the record, quote, "I have a friend in the neighborhood. I know the neighborhood." Did that influence the decision? I don't know. If you listen to the record on this case, you will hear people talking about Paul Manafort. Did that have anything to do with the decision to deny? That was raised numerous times by the community because Mr. Yohai, my client, is his ex-son-in-law, happens to be in litigation with Mr. Manafort now. And there's a very tenuous connection. Mr. Manafort has nothing to do with this property, yet that was discussed at the hearing. That's how perverse this decision is. You don't really regulate homes through our ordinances that are not intended for that purpose. And so I urge you not to take the bait here, to protect the city and its authenticity, and reverse the board, adopt the staff report that Cora Johnson and her staff wrote approving the haul route, and Cora can give you the details, she's sitting right here in front of you, recommending approval. Adopt that, and that should be the decision. Thank you.
Jason Summers, Tom Fanning, John Rusica.
Hello, Jason Summers from Crest Real Estate, representing the appellant. This project is actually situated on a 114,000 square foot lot. It's one of the largest lots in the entire area. The original project a long time ago was proposed at a 20,000 square foot house. That was reduced and submitted and is ready for permit pending the haul route approval of 50% of that, a 10,000 square foot house, which if you compare it to the floor area ratio of the other surrounding area neighbors is actually lower. We've also implemented any safety measures that have been requested, including additional flag personnel, restricted hours of operation, no hauling on Saturdays, and anything else that has been a mitigation measure to make this a safer project. With all of these mitigation measures, we feel that we have met the findings of the staff to approve this haul route.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tom Fanning, and I'm from the design firm that's designed this home. I just want to state that we have been before the Haul Route Commission now probably 15 times in the last year and a half, and they have approved larger projects on more challenging sites and on worse and longer streets in this city. The haul route is a by right condition. To my knowledge, I don't know if any haul route has ever been denied. I don't know the circumstances, although I have suspicions as to reasons why they've decided to deny a by right condition upon developing sites. But I'm here to tell you that there is substantial documentation to represent that the denial of this project based upon the cubic yardage being taken off and the conditions that have been met and mitigation conditions has never been seen before in my office, certainly, and we specialize in these types of homes. So we recommend that you hopefully support the decision by the commission and approve the haul route. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is John Ruzica. I'm the project architect, and I'll just reiterate some of the things that have already been said. This is a by right project. It's in compliance with all applicable codes and standards. We've worked really hard to develop this project to be by right status. We're looking to haul across 200 feet of substandard street before it becomes a standard street and leads to Los Feliz. The total haul route is roughly a mile. I'm here to answer any questions about the design if there are any.
Tony Russo, John Coveni, Charlie Carno, Lindsay Casamasima.
So a few things regarding the street width neighborhood outreach and a comment that this project required no variances or other exceptions from the code, BHO or LAMC. Regarding the neighborhood outreach, we were told by the commissioners to reach out to the neighbors, and we sent multiple emails to them requesting meetings. I did receive response, but none of them wanted to meet to discuss the projects and our additional conditions for safety. Additionally, with regard to the street width, yes, Nottingham is a substandard street, but is greater than 20 feet, and there are hundreds of haul routes that have been approved on a street greater than 20 feet. Additionally, it's about 200 linear feet from the property to a standard Hillside limited street, which is 28 feet or greater, which is Nottingham. So with regard to the street conditions, it doesn't make any sense that this would be denied, considering the amount of approvals that have been issued on similar streets in the area and in other areas. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Rodney Lasher. I'm an attorney from Hillfair and Burrell and counselor for John Coveney. We stand in opposition to this project, and just as a threshold matter, to characterize the decision of the BBSC as arbitrary belies the facts and logic. The simple truth is California case law provides that the opinions and objections of neighbors can serve as substantial evidence in making and reaching a finding. The finding of the BBSC was unanimous. They unanimously denied this application for a number of reasons, chief among them the safety and health of the community. With that, Mount Yohai LLC is a bankrupt entity. Nothing from the bankruptcy court or any bankruptcy trustee is authorized the bringing of this application, this appeal, or the retention of counsel who has already spoke to you today. The fact that this development could cease and just suddenly stop creates a widespread concern amongst the community that the development simply is not going to move forward. You'd have an exposed hillside on a substandard street that, contrary to their representations, measures 16 feet at its most narrow point. This is a concern that was all part of the testimony brought before the BBSC. They weighed those decisions, and they found that this should be denied unanimously. With that, too, I would just like to point out that we do have some letters.
Thank you, sir. Your time is up. Thank you. John Coveney, we don't allow people to transfer time. It's just the rules here. Thank you. Charlie Carno, Lindsay Casamasima.
My name's John Coveney. I live at 2508 Nottingham. I've got 55 seconds to save lives. I want you to hear a lot of numbers today and a lot of accusations, and the number I want you to think about today is 1. It takes 1 truck to damage someone. It takes 1 flagman to be distracted by their phone. And it takes 1 courageous soul to be the flagman who takes Los Feliz Boulevard as his job assignment. This is 1 unique road. It measures 16 feet on a blind turn. I live across the street where there is no curb and no sidewalk that is 20 feet. I know because I live there. These guys don't live there. This is 1 tricky owner. He's still not here today. He is involved in litigation or future litigation that will go to the safety of the neighborhood. If he builds a hillside and it's cut open, it will keep an unstable hillside for all of us to deal with. So I ask you to think about that 1 issue, that 1 hurt individual, and the 1 vote that can help turn this thing around, and that's yours, and I need that today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Support the unanimous decision by the BBSC.
That was John Coveney. Charlie Carno spoke, right? So that now it's Lindsay. And then Chris Casamasima.
Hi there. My name is Lindsay Casamasima. I live at 2500 Nottingham, directly across the street from this proposed project. We're talking about 2,000 truck trips with trucks turning around right in front of my house, where my 2 young sons like to play outside, walk my dog on a street that is maybe 16 feet across, where we sometimes park our cars, making the street even narrower. I don't know where these people are actually imagining that they're going to put these trucks until they've maybe excavated a spot on their project site. Until then, where are these trucks coming from? What are they hauling day in, day out, with families, young children, people who are there during the day? It's a very, very narrow street with many blind curves, and the safety issue on our street and to Los Feliz Boulevard is a huge issue for us. It makes me scared for my kids, it makes me scared for me, and I don't think they realize the impact of a project of this size. It's just pollution, noise, you name it, they're bringing it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Chris Casamasima. There is a substantial basis in evidence of the board's decision. It was reasonable, it was rational, and it was the right one. The streets are substandard. There were misrepresentations just made on the record to you about the width of the streets. Those are inaccurate and wrong numbers. Another inaccuracy is no one over there has ever reached out to me. That is an outright lie that I received an email about this. I live right across the street. They're deliberately misrepresenting the record. There is absolutely nowhere to stage the excavation and hauling, nowhere other than in front of my house on this narrow street. It is a pitched, extremely steep hillside. There's a reason why this hillside has been undeveloped for the 90-plus years that there's been development in the Hollywood Hills. It does stand alone. It is a big piece of property, and that's because it's undevelopable in any reasonable basis, and there's no reasonable or safe way to excavate where they want to put this house, and I just urge you to not overturn the unanimous, reasoned, supported by evidence basis and decision of the Board of Safety. Thank you.
Thank you. Leslie Small, Ann Hack, someone Young, I just put the name Young. And then Haig Minassian.
Hi, my name is Leslie Small. I live at 2458 Chislehurst Drive, and pending the outcome today, I literally will be putting my house on the market. I'm in full view of the hillside and have been a resident for 16 years. 12 of them, I have stood in front of like committees and repeatedly have always had favorable response to our plight with the repeated attempted developments on this steep, unbuildable hillside. In addition, we've had Los Feliz Improvement Association, Greater Griffith Park Neighborhood Council, CD4 with Tom LaBonge, and now, of course, David Rue. And members of the LADBS have all met with us over the years, exceeding a decade, to protect the safety and welfare of the residents in this neighborhood. I urge you to review this hillside. It has a huge history with many, many facts, and many good people like yourselves have protected it with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Anne Hack. My husband and I live at 2520 Nottingham, directly opposite to this property in question. We are really concerned about this appeal that is being made. Already it has been stated that Nottingham Avenue is a very narrow, substandard street. It's about 20 feet wide where our home is. And if a permit were given, the number of trucks that would be going up and down our very small street, which would impact the service people, the delivery vehicles, visitors to our homes, and residents parking on the street. It would not only be very difficult, if not impossible, but hazardous for the entire neighborhood because of severe congestion. There are families on our street with young children, and it's our true concern for the safety of these people that they're going to be jeopardized by this hauling route. Another issue is the health question. Valley fever is not an unknown quantity in Los Angeles right now, and it is caused by removal of dirt and contamination of the air, so that is something to be considered. Additionally, my husband personally has
Thank you, ma'am. Your time is up. Thank you.
severe asthma, which is exacerbated by dust. Just finally, the route is extremely dangerous, and my comment is, if the truck is parked at that site and it's got loaded with dirt and it has to go down the street, are they going to reverse down this narrow street and back into Chislehurst to go down the street? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Walter Young. I'm a neighbor. I point out to you that the appeal is a sham. Number one, they offered no appeal to the rejection of the mitigated declaration. So they failed to appeal that issue, so that must be affirmed. And if you look at the appeal, there's no mention of that. Secondly, the negative declaration was filed in 2005. It's out of date. Thirdly, it fails to address the rapid increase in valley fever in Los Angeles County. And I'll hand your clerk 2 studies by the county health confirming that the risk is because of drought, removal of earth. You have neighbors at risk. And lastly, I point out the appeal was not signed by the client. The client is a bankrupt entity. The dog and pony show they put on with 5 people are not owners. None of those people are owners. It's owned by a trustee in bankruptcy. They are a future buyer and have no stake in the game.
Thank you very much. Your time is up, sir.
Name is Haig Minassian. To simply imply that the Building Board and Safety Commission doesn't know what it's doing. It's not the first hauling route they've been on. They know exactly what they're doing. They clearly understand what the problem is. They have no friends in there that they made their decision on. That's really insulting to that commission for what they decided. You know, it was an unanimous decision made by the board. Even one of the board members asked him, how are you going to hold out? How much do you have to hold out before you even can stage on the property? The answer was, we don't know. I don't know. So by its fact is ridiculous. They have a 10,000 square foot house they're going to build on a property that's not buildable. Even you commissioners passed a ordinance last year saying 6,000 cubic yards of hauling is immediate risk to health and safety. It was voted 10 out of 10 commissioners present on that meeting voted for it. And that's why we're here. We're saying hauling over 6,000 cubic yards is ridiculous. There's very risk on bodily injury, health, property damages, and the whole, I would request from this board here to accept what BSC decided, and also to request that a new plan be submitted, which is within reason.
Thank you, sir.
This project is unreasonable.
Thank you. That concludes our public comments. Any questions or comments from the council members? Seeing none, we will request that we deny the appeal per Council District 4's and sustain the determination of the Board of Building and Safety Commissioners and incorporate the findings by the testimony of the Council District 4 staff. Any objections? Seeing none, so ordered. Thank you. Where does that take us to, Mr. Mejia?
Public comment.
Public comment. We have a lot of public comment today. Each person has 1 minute. Zach Strasters, Elisa Mena, Alex Sandoval. Welcome.
Thank you and good afternoon. My name is Zach Strosters and I'm here on behalf of the Arms Organization. Excuse me. U.S. Congressman Ron Lewis was once quoted as saying, "By encouraging conservation, increasing investments in clean renewable sources of energy, and promoting increased domestic production of oil and gas, we can build a more secure future for our country." There's no identifiable reason why California, led by the City of Los Angeles and its lawmaking bodies, such as this Plum Commission, can't both protect domestic oil and gas production as well as explore the opportunities represented by renewable energy sources. Approving a 2,500-foot setback is approving a shutdown of the oil and gas industry. Doing that at this point in our nascent journey to establish renewables as our primary source of energy production would be like trying to build a house in a hurricane. Southern California hosts some of the largest oil and gas deposits in the world. There's tremendous need in our domestic economy for this particular product, and to arbitrarily shut down production by mandating a 2,500-foot setback would cause us to have to import our oil and gas for many years to come. Please consider the power you've been given and do the right thing. Vote no on the setback. Thank you.
Thank you. Elisa Mena, Alex Sandoval.
Good afternoon, I'm Alex Sandoval. So there is an article in Argument News. The Allison and Venice demonstrate a problem with short-term rentals argument. Of the 60 units at the Allison, only 12 are now occupied by permanent residents. 10 of whom are organizing to fight. What they allege are the landlords attempt to force them to quit. Those freeing up their units, more lucrative short-term vacation rentals. It used to be sort of paradise. Now it becomes a party hotels. So it said Brian, Everett, and Allison, tenants of 15 years. This is a disaster. So I urge you to vote for short-term rentals ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you. Elisa Mena here? No. Ana Franco, Leticia Ceballos, Sergio Maldona, Larry Sancho.
Good afternoon, my name is Ana Franco, and I work at the Westin Bonaventure. I live in Los Angeles. I've been a renter for 5 years. In the last 5 years, my rent went up almost $400. I am a single mother and I will not be able to live in the city of Los Angeles if the rent keeps increasing. Please, pass a short-term rental ordinance, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Leticia Ceballos. Trabajo en el Hilton Glendale, en Lowe's Hollywood Hotel. Vengo aquí a presentar.
Good afternoon, my name is Leticia Ceballos. I work at the Hilton Glendale and at the Lowe's Hollywood.
Vengo a exponer mi problema. Tengo 17 años trabajando en 2 hoteles. Tuve una necesidad de moverme de la ciudad porque no podía pagar la renta y poder darle una educación a mis hijos.
I'm here to talk about my issue, which is that I worked at both hotels for 17 years, and I had to leave the city of Los Angeles because I couldn't afford to pay my rent and my children's education.
Por el incremento de las rentas, no podemos solventar las rentas de vivir aquí, y le pido que por favor proteja la vivienda y que pase la ordenanza. Y toda esta necesidad que tengo yo la tienen varios trabajadores, y es por eso que creemos en ustedes y podamos irnos, que escuchen nuestras peticiones. Gracias.
And so I was forced to move, and I'm asking you today to please protect housing in the city of LA. We believe in you, and we're asking that you continue to support us and pass the ordinance. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sergio Balonalo. I live in District 9, Karen Price's district. I work 2 jobs, one at the GW Marriott and the other at the Beverly Hilton. My parents lived out their dream of buying a house and raising a family. They have lived in that same house for over 20 years. I have that same dream, but even when working 2 jobs, I can't afford a house in my neighborhood of South LA. Even if at some point I found a house that I could barely afford, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it, having to work 2 jobs to afford it. Short-term rentals are a huge part of the problem, taking housing off of the market and causing prices to skyrocket. Please support and pass short-term rentals regulation. Thank you for your time.
Larry Sancho? Larry Sancho? Thank you.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Larry Sancho. Yo trabajo para el Downtown Hotel por 14 años como mesero.
Good afternoon, my name is Larry Sancho. I've worked at the LA Downtown Hotel for 14 years as a server.
He vivido en el Koreatown por 10 años. En los últimos 2 años mi renta ha subido más de $300.
I lived in Koreatown for the last 10 years, and in the last 2 years, my rent has increased by over $300.
Y he visto que han sacado mucha gente que antes vivía en mi vivienda, en mi vecindad, y también he visto mucha gente quedarse en Airbnb. Es importante controlar el costo de la renta y proteger la vivienda para que la gente.
I have seen a lot of people pushed out of my neighborhood, and also seen a lot of the buildings be used for Airbnb. It's important to control the cost of rent and to protect housing.
Para que la gente pueda vivir en Los Ángeles y poder pagar su renta y seguir viviendo en la ciudad. Por favor, pasen la ordenanza. Gracias.
It's important that the people who work in the city of Los Angeles are able to pay their rent and continue to live in the city. Please pass the short-term rentals ordinance. Thank you.
Sandra Rodriguez, Alex Wyman, Mike Mclean.
Good afternoon. My name is
afternoon.
Sandra Rodriguez. I live in Current Prices District, District 9. I am fortunate enough to own my own home, but the only reason I own my home is because I inherited from my family. I wouldn't be able to afford rent or let alone buy a home in my neighborhood. I have a lot of people in my life that are in a situation in which they cannot afford rent, and they have resorted to living in small groups in tiny apartments in order to be able to afford the exorbitant prices of rent around USC. This is all thanks to Airbnb invading my neighborhood. We need regulations as soon as possible. This is a crisis. Please support us and pass regulations on short-term rentals now. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexandra Wayman. I'm a member of Unite Here Local 11, and I currently live in CD4. I've lived in the city of Los Angeles my whole life, and I've been a renter since 2009. A year and a half ago, I moved from the valley to the city to live closer to work, and like many Los Angeles residents, I pay half of my monthly income on rent. The city is in the midst of a housing crisis, and we must ensure that entire apartment units are not taken off the housing market to allow short-term rentals. It's absolutely unacceptable that almost 5,000 housing units have been lost since the STR ordinance was introduced 2 years ago. I believe in the true form of home sharing, and I hope that you pass the short-term rental regulation as soon as possible with no more delays. Thank you.
Mike Mclean, Claudia Aguilera, Donald Wilson.
All right, hello, my name is Michael McLean. Thank you for coming today. I am a lifetime resident of Los Angeles City, and STRs absolutely have to be regulated very closely. We have a vacancy rate of 3.7% in the city of Los Angeles, which is preposterous. That keeps us from moving where we want to move. It keeps rents high, and we know we are in the midst of a housing crisis. I mean, you know, it is one thing to say we need to regulate it, but it is another thing to say we're going to help the residents of LA and give them the tools it takes to have a home over their heads. There's a homelessness issue, there's a safety issue. Short-term rentals are absolutely hollowing out and taking away the character of the neighborhoods in which they are rampant. You know this, I'm preaching to the choir. Without strong regulation of short-term rentals like Airbnb and Vrbo, we're going to push out the people who want to live in LA and who love LA and have been living here their entire lives. Thank you very much. I look forward to you doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Claudia Aguilera. I work in Hyatt Regency LAX. I'm a single mom and a member of Local 11. Affordable housing is an emergency. It's difficult to understand why they have to increase your rent twice a year when I have to provide for my family needs. It's insane to find affordable housing in my neighborhood. I demand your attention in this matter. I demand your support to our community workers and to our community. Take action, stop short-term rentals. We're losing 5 units. Please pass this ordinance. Thank you.
Donald Wilson, Sarah Blank, Heidi Kim.
Good afternoon. My name is Reverend D.L. Wilson. I serve as chaplain for Unite Here, and these are our constituents that you see standing behind me. And this issue has been going on for a long time. We would like to see it come to an end. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out what we're doing here. Our hotel workers are working very hard. And to have these shade tree hotels to set up around us and take jobs from us, and also to squeeze the housing situation. We're already like sardines, and this is the entertainment capital of the world. To have this kind of stuff going on here in our neighborhoods and taking away affordable housing is absolutely wrong. And I'm asking you in Unite, if you pray or when you pray, that you make the right decisions for my constituents that are behind me. Thank you very much, and we're looking forward to your decisions without any more delays.
Sarah Blank, or Blanche?
Delilah was called a moment ago, but she missed her turn.
I'm sorry, what was the name?
Delilah.
No, I didn't call Delilah. I'm sorry.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Good afternoon. I'm Sarah Blanche. I'm co-chair of the Los Angeles Drug and Alcohol Policy Alliance. We're a group of public health professionals and concerned community members working to reduce alcohol problems in the city of LA. And we're here today to ask you to agendize the alcohol restricted use subdistrict motion. It was introduced a year ago by Councilmember Rue. It's motion number 17-0117. The motion is a very flexible tool for managing the overconcentration of alcohol businesses in our neighborhoods. It can be customized to meet the needs of specific neighborhoods throughout LA, and you, the city council members, get to decide how and if it is applied. Most importantly, the alcohol restricted use subdistrict motion is absolutely necessary. There are 990 applications in process right now for liquor licenses in the city of LA, and the tools that exist to manage overconcentration are broken. So we ask that you agendize this motion. It is a tool to make sure that there are reasonable balance between developers and their surrounding communities. Agendize it today. Thank you.
Thank you. Harry Kim, Raul Verdugo, Vince Luz, Elias.
Hi, my name is Hari Kim. I'm here with the Coalition to Prevent Alcohol-Related Harms in LA Metro. There are over 40 agencies and organizations that support the Ridgelines Ordinance, including Alcohol Justice, Behavioral Health Services, Boyle Heights Stakeholders Association, Children's Hospital Los Angeles, CoPalm, Institute for Public Strategies, Koreatown Youth and Community Center, Mothers of East Los Angeles, Paso for Paso Incorporated, Pueblo y Salud Incorporated, San Fernando Valley Partnership, Saving Lives Coalition, SPA 2, Communities in Action. Please agendize the ARA's motion. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Raul Verdugo. I work with Alcohol Justice. I'm going to list a few organizations in support of the ARA's motion. First one, Social Model Recovery Services, Tarzana Treatment Centers, United Coalition East Prevention Project, the Wall Las Memorias Project, Women Against Gun Violence, Women's Christian Temperance Union, California Council on Alcohol Problems, Cesar E. Chavez Commemorative Committee, Dr. Jonathan Fielding Schools of Public Health and Medicine, UCLA, El Centro del Pueblo, Fernandeño, Batavillan Band of Mission Indians, Father Greg Boyle of Homeboy Industries, Hollywood Family Recovery Center, and Magnolia Community Initiative. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Vince. I'm with the Coalition to Prevent Alcohol-Related Harms in LA Metro, and we represent organizations in the SPA 4 area, and we have more organizations that are in support of the Alcohol Restricted Use Subdistrict Ordinance, the National Asian Pacific American Families Against Substance Abuse, National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence San Fernando Valley, North Hollywood West Neighborhood Council, Pacoima Urban Village, Pacoima Neighborhood Council, Southern California Indian Center, stakeholders of Boyle Heights, the Westside Impact Coalition, the Los Angeles City and County Native American Indian Commission, Variety Boys and Girls Club of Boyle Heights, Watts Healthcare Corporation, West Hollywood Project, Westside Impact Coalition, Dr. Randall Hendry of Community Intelligence. Please agendize motion 17-0117. Thank you.
Jay Gaines, Bishop Juan Carlos Mendez, Alejandra Veronica De Lara.
Good afternoon. My name is Jay Gaines. We live in the most beautiful city on the earth. We are blessed with an abundant economy. The state of California, U.S., and Pacific Rim economies all flow through here. You know, I want to prosper. I want to see everybody prosper. In a capitalistic society, a little greed is to be expected. I think it's a good thing. But avarice to the point of which you're displacing decent people, hardworking people, it's becoming uberous, you know, and, you know, the avarice that it takes to just do that thing, this kind of thing to people, you know, creating more and more homelessness. A 75% growth, is that really acceptable to you people? I don't think that is. You know, look,
there's not anybody sitting here that I wouldn't vote for again, but I'm counting on you guys to stop this.
Thank you. Bishop Juan Carlos Mendez, Alejandra Veronica de Lara.
Bishop Juan Carlos Mendez, representing Churches in Action and the Los Angeles Interfaith Council. With the current housing crisis in Los Angeles, it is time to address the short-term rentals. From a humane and compassionate heart and a good rational mind, I ask you, gentlemen, to make the right decision. Many residents of Los Angeles are losing their residence because Airbnb is taking precedence in many of our communities. We're using profits more than people, and I object to this. Please, I ask you, make the right choice and control what we're having in this housing crisis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bishop.
Hello, my name is Alejandra Huerta. I'm a health educator and I'm serving youth and parents. I'm going to speak on behalf of LADAPA. So at the current moment, I want to share some facts, some data about coming from ABC. The current number of alcohol licenses in District 8 are as follow. There are 32 bars and restaurants with 3 pending approval. There's 127 liquor stores and retailers with 7 pending approval. There are 9 non-retail licenses with 0 that are pending, giving a total of 183 alcohol licenses in District 8, including the pending licenses.
Thank you. Veronica de Lara, Brenda Villanueva, Marina, Nicholas Patino, Ener Ayala.
Hi, my name is Veronica de Lara, and I'm from Pueblo y Salud, and I do work in the San Fernando Valley. I am here today speaking as a LADAPA member. As a stakeholder and working in the San Fernando Valley, I want to share the current number of alcohol licenses in District 12. Bars and restaurants, 183, pending approval of 8. Liquor stores and retailers, 154, a pending of 4. Non-retail licenses, 11 pending of 14. A total of 364 alcohol licenses in District 12. I want you to think about these numbers as you're thinking about the public safety and public health of our communities. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brenda Villanueva, and I'm here as co-chair of LADAPA, but I am also a resident in District 3, which actually currently has 238 bars and restaurants with a pending approval of 30. It has 136 liquor stores and retailers with a pending approval of 8, and it has 14 non-retail licenses with pending 1, giving a total of 427 alcohol licenses in District 3, including the pending licenses. I would urge you guys to go ahead and agendize item 170117 and really think about the communities and how alcohol is impacting them. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Marina, and I'm a representative of the West Side Impact Project, and I'm here today in front of you as a member of LADAPA. I'm also going to be sharing some data from District 9, which is Councilman Price, but I see that he left the quarters. The bars and restaurants are 57. There's 15 that are pending in the district. Liquor stores and retailers are 160 with 7 pending, and non-retail license are 5 with 0 pending. This gives a total of 253 alcohol licenses in the district, in District 9. I ask that the committee please agendize the RS motion 17-0117 because it provides the local control another tool to protect the public health, safety, and welfare for its residents. Thank you so much.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Nicolas Patiño, and I'm a community organizer with the WA Las Memorias Project. We are based in Highland Park. We're about to open an office in downtown LA. I am speaking as a member of LADAPA. I'm here to share some data. Currently in District 14, which is represented by Jose Huizar, There are 482 bar and restaurant alcohol licenses with 64 pending approval. There are 202 liquor store and retailers with 19 pending approval. There are 70 non-retail licenses with 13 pending approval. That's a total of 887 alcohol licenses in District 14. I will ask that the Plum Committee please put into the agenda the motion number 170117. We don't need any more alcohol outlets. Thank you.
Ener Ayala, Ismael Castro, Shante Shepherd, Q. Jean-Marie. Jean-Marie.
Good afternoon. My name is Ener Ayala, and I live in the city of Los Angeles. And I ask to agendize item number 170117 as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ismael Castro, and I'm here with LA DAPA. I'm a community organizer and resident of Boyle Heights. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. Our community will benefit tremendously from ARIS, and we would benefit from your support. We are asking today to schedule a meeting with the chair's office to discuss agendizing this ARIS motion 170117. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Shante Shepherd here? Yes? No? Q. Jean-Marie? No? Susan Hunter? After Susan Hunter is Ariel Sally, Ariana Alcaraz. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for your time. Susan Hunter, I'm with the Los Angeles Tenants Union Hollywood Local, and I'm here to say that we are, of course, disappointed that the home sharing ordinance did not get to a vote today. It should have come to a vote today. It should have come to a vote a month ago. It should have come to a vote a year ago. As a tenants' rights organization, we are flooded with people asking us for help. And unfortunately, when we reach out to the agencies that we think can help us, like Building and Safety and HCID, what we are told is that they are waiting on you to get this out of commission or out of this committee. So unfortunately, right now, we have no support. We can't help tenants until you finally get the home sharing ordinance out of this committee. So we are asking you, we are on our knees begging you to please bring this to a vote on the 10th so that we can finally have some agencies backing us to help keep tenants in their homes. Because what I can't do is go back to those same tenants and say, I'm sorry, we're waiting on a vote. It doesn't work, it doesn't help them, and they've already lost their homes. Please help us to help them.
Ariel, Ariana Alcaraz, Damian Goodman, Rob Polito, Mark Kennerson.
Council members, Damian Goodman, Crenshaw Subway Coalition. I stand here today to remind some of you of the reason that you sit in your seats today. For quite some time, black people were forced to travel across the country with a book, the Negro Motorist Green Book, known as the Green Book, that listed the hotels where black people could actually sleep because there were so many places we could not. The fight to ban racial discrimination in public accommodations in hotels was a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. And yet it seems 50 years later, with reports of discrimination of people of color, specifically black people, by Airbnb hosts, we seem to be going backward. So I'm clear, I'm waiting for the day that a Title II lawsuit against Airbnb is successful and this operation is shut down. But until such a day, at the very least you can do is adopt reasonable regulations. Do it now. Surely if we're to take you at your word that you take this housing affordability and houselessness crisis seriously, you will stop allowing rent-stabilized units to go off the market for these hotels. You will do something about this now. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Robert Polito. I represent the ARMS organization. The oil and gas industry in California is huge, and one of the heaviest areas of concentration for the production, storage, and sale is right here in Los Angeles. Over 100,000 people are employed in the industry directly in this county, and tens of millions of us in LA depend on gas being available at an affordable price every day to get us from point A to point B. The federal, state, and city government depend on the tax revenue from from the production and consumption of oil and gas in California to fund public schools, hospitals, police and fire stations, and military bases, not to mention to keep up in roads, sewers, and electric grids. Although it may be a little difficult to imagine the ripple effect from the decision by the Plum Commission to approve a 2,500-foot setback could ultimately lead to a huge negative impact in our local economy. Individuals at all levels of the economy would see prices skyrocket for consumer gasoline of oil, gas production were required to honor this restriction. All consumer goods and services dependent on the shipping and receiving of products would then therefore also adopt a massive price. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Mark Kennerson, Jane Taguchi, Stacey Burmaster, Cynthia Strathman.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Kennerson, and I'm also here representing the ARMS organization, and I'm also a resident of Southern Los Angeles. Every day as I begin another adventure in my busy life, I consider what the Los Angeles of the future will be like. What will it be like trying to get a job? What will the cost of gas be? And what will it be to live and make ends meet in the city? Will someone like me still be even able to hack it? These are the questions that come to mind when I look at my busy day. Very few people carry the same sort of power in the men and women in the LA City Hall do. And very rarely is it that the future of its many depend on the decisions of the few. Yet somehow, this small commission has inherited the future of my city. The types of sacrifice my children and their children will have to make in order to survive in Los Angeles will depend on how this vote turns out. Vote no on the setback, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Jane Taguchi. I've attended all the Plum hearings in regarding to short-term rentals since the house across the street from me became an Airbnb rental. The new owners intimidated me and my neighbors because we reported their illegal hotel. In November 2014, I held a meeting in my home with a group of my neighbors. It was attended by Mary Rodriguez of Farrell's office, Gabriel Taylor of DA's office, and David Lara of LADVS. This presentation is what I showed at that meeting. They assured me that an investigation was in progress and action to be taken in January 2015. Well, it is 2018 and no STR enforcement was done. My neighbors and I simply want peaceful enjoyment of our homes. Please pass the ordinance, limit the number of days, and restrict to only primary residents. Absent owners leave their vacation tenants unsupervised, as I witnessed over 3 years. I, at times, was unduly burdened to watch for parking, traffic, and noise problems of someone else's paying guests. Please keep our neighborhoods with neighbors, and not as commercial investments for people who don't even live here.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Stacey Burmaster. I work with Venice Community Housing, and I live in Councilmember Blumenfield's district. LA's affordable housing crisis is feeding our homelessness crisis. A tool to combat that is the short-term rentals ordinance. We're asking to get it passed in the committee so that we can have more regulations. It's a simple request, and I know that we all have the goal of reducing homelessness and keeping people from entering into it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Cynthia Strathman. I'm with Strategic Actions for a Just Economy in South Los Angeles. We work with low-income tenants to help apprise them of their rights as tenants, and we support regulation of the short-term rental industry along with many other equity partners like St. John's Well Child and Family Center, Power in Venice, the Koreatown Immigrant Workers Alliance, the Southeast Asian Community Alliance, Inquilinos Unidos, the Coalition for Economic Survival, and I am sure several others that I am currently blanking on right at this second. But we are all in agreement that we need some sort of sensible regulation of short-term rentals to help keep our very valuable supply of housing that's affordable for ordinary people as housing, while still allowing a few small mom and pops to make the extra money that they need. So we really support sensible regulation of short-term housing. Thank you very much.
William Shumate, Ronetta Rideout, Melanie Tu or Toe, Stephanie Okolo.
afternoon. My name is Melanie To, and I'm a resident of Koreatown, and I work in Hollywood, two regional areas in the city with a high concentration of alcohol outlets. I am with the Los Angeles Drug and Alcohol Policy Alliance, and I'm asking the committee to please put motion number 170117 on the agenda, the proposed alcohol restricted use subdistrict ordinance championed by Councilman Rue. This is a community tool that will allow residents like myself to have a voice in what alcohol licenses come into our communities. I'm asking you as a committee to please support not only me, but also your constituents. This is a huge deal. I live in Koreatown, I work in Hollywood, and there's always public nuisance outside my office, outside my home. It's a huge issue. This is a community tool that I can use. Please give power to the people. Thank you so much for your support.
Good afternoon. My name is Stephanie Okolo. I work in the Hollywood area and I'm a member of the Los Angeles Drug and Alcohol Policy Alliance. I ask the Council for support in favor of the Alcohol Restricted Use Subdistrict Ordinance. This proposed ordinance will limit the spread of alcohol into vulnerable communities and give these populations that are negatively affected by the high alcohol density the power to take control. I ask that you support the motion and agendize it today. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that concludes our public comment. Did you sign up, ma'am?
I did.
What's your name?
My name is Shantae Shepard. I think I was called, but I wasn't certain.
Yeah, you were called. Yes, you were.
Okay.
Welcome.
Perfect. And we don't want Airbnb in our neighborhoods. I live in Leimert Park. My grandmother owns a home there. My father owns a home there. And I run a community garden there. If everyone that owns properties there are absent, there's no one to benefit from their community gardens, and we are also depreciating our sense of community. Absent owners have no vested interest in maintaining the quality of life in our communities. They will not approve initiatives that will improve our schools, improve healthcare, improve hospitals for our children, and just the environment for our youth in general. We want to see the short-term rental ordinance passed. We want this big, huge corporation regulated, and we want to see fair rent so that we can remain in the neighborhoods that we've grown up in. We can't maintain a sense of community if we completely devoid the neighborhood of its natives. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That concludes public comment. Any other items on the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, that concludes our meeting. Thank you.